Hey guys, Tim here. June 8th, 2021. We're at the North Yard. I've got some work to do today, and so this isn't going to be as much of a look at my bees video as much as it's going to be a treatment video. And so just wanted to walk through the hives. Everyone's excited. They're cranking today. Got the Russians. This is the swarm that you guys just watched me catch. Call that the River Bend swarm. We've got the Old World Carnies. They've got a new queen. This is the big trampoline swarm. Is it? Yeah, that's the trampoline swarm. We have the, look at that stack. 2 deeps, 4 mediums. Those are the Saskatraz bees. Man, they're workers. This is a little nuke I gotta take care of. There's way too many bees in here. Those were from the South Yard. I moved that queen off. Big Blue, the Pacific Northwest Carnies, and the Cordovans with a new queen. The old queen got superseded. New queen in there. They're great, but everyone's super excited. They're busy. 73 degrees, 72 degrees. Looking forward to looking through that swarm. But I told you I wanted to touch on some treatment stuff with you guys, and so here goes. As far as treatment goes, and this is just some different questions I've been asked by you guys who follow my videos, but also just beekeepers around the area and on overwintering success and just yearly success. I'm not the best beekeeper in the world by any means, but the way that I treat and the way that I work my hives seems to work good for me. And so what I'm giving you guys is just my opinion, okay, on what works for me. I'll never tell you guys how to raise your bees because they're your bees. But the way, if you want to mimic what I do and copy what I do, you're more than welcome to, because I feel like I've had good success with my bees. And so I start out the year with running Formic. So when I come out of winter with my girls, I'm sorry, not Formic. When I come out of winter with my girls, I use oxalic acid in vape form. And so that's like the February, March months, okay, they get oxalic acid. By April and May, when they're really ramping up, is when I'll put in Apivar. I use Apivar because it's 42 days of treatment. I don't have to be coming out here and reworking my hives all the time, but I don't have any honey flow on by then either. That's going to also help reduce mite load. I don't mind the Apivar. In your treatments, you should be using different treatments. You should be changing them up, okay? As big as these stacks are right now, you see the stacks that I have. This is when I'll switch to Formic, okay? So I will give them a shot of Formic. They've had Apivar on, but the Apivar loses its potency, and with the size of these stacks, it's not able to do the job that it needs to do within the 42 days they say that it takes, or that it will last. And so what I'm going to do is I will treat now in June. There is a small honey flow on, which is why I'm going to use Formic. So I'm going to blast these bees with Formic one time before the flow really picks up. The lindens are just about to pop, and so I'm going to hit them with Formic acid. So Formic acid is, number one, heavier than air. It is a volatile acid. There's a lot of science. Formic is in all kinds of plants. Formic is found in honey. Formic is found in all kinds of stuff that we eat on day-to-day basis, but it's super hard on the mites. It just will knock the mites dead. Having said that, it's also hard on your bees. And so there's directions when you get the Formic. There's a way that they tell you to run it. I don't run it that way. And so I will show you guys kind of the brochure or the way that they tell you to do it. You can do it in a single dose, which is like 10-day treatment, where you put 2 patties down on your brood nest in between your boxes, or the 21-day treatment, which is 1 patty down on your boxes and you switch them at 14. With the way that these hives are stacked up, it's the same at the south yard too. I need more coverage, but because Formic is heavier than air, because the acid is heavier than air, instead of putting the 2 patties down right here in between the 2 boxes, so you have a deep here and a deep here, I will space them out. So what happens if you put your 2 patties on the way that they tell you to, and I'm not saying anything against the manufacturer of this, I'm just doing, this is the way that I do it. I'm just telling you my way that I do it. Instead of putting 2 patties here and letting all of that gas, the off gas from the Formic patty sink into your brood box, I will put 1 here, I will put 1 here, and then I'll put another one maybe up above. And so what happens is it allows the gas from the Formic to come down through your hives, hit all of the brood and all of the bees, and then out. This is another reason also that I run slatted racks. There's not a lot of other people out there who run slatted racks, but I run slatted racks because that's an extra 2 inches of ventilation needed for the Formic to work and not be so hard on your bees. When you run this Formic, you need really good ventilation. The other thing that you need is low temperatures. Anything above, they tell you 85. The instructions say you can use it up to 85 degrees. I won't use it if I know that it's hitting 80 within 5 days of me using it. I won't. And so today, 74 degrees. Yesterday I put it on the south yard. It was like 64 degrees. It's supposed to be in the 60s and rain the next couple of days, and then start to kind of gradually go up by the weekend, June 12th. It's supposed to be, almost 85. And so when it gets up that high, the main off gas from the formic acid is going to be already dispersed through the hive. And so I'm not going to worry too much about it. But what it does is I hear people talk about losing queens. It's too hard on their bees. It's too hard on their queens. What it does is, because it's so powerful, it will take the smell of the queen away from the colony. And so that's why they'll start superseding. That's why you'll see queen cells in there. The other thing that they'll do is they tell you not to use it on fragile queens. So a fragile queen, this is my opinion, a fragile queen to me is a brand new hatched queen in there and a brand new hatched queen in there. Okay, those are fragile queens to me. They're not older queens who are established and are already laying good. So in those two hives, I won't use them. In that little nuke and that little single story, I won't use formic in there. This is a swarm that I caught. Queen is laying. I know that there's frames of brood in there, and so I know that that's an established queen, and so that's why I'll run it in the swarm also. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my stuff ready, and I'm just going to show you guys how I apply my formic when I put it on. And so this is more or less, I'm not working bee. I mean, I'm working bees, but I'm not going to let you see me and look at all my bees and how the brood is. This is more or less me telling you my way of treating my hives for mites. Oxalic acid early, switch to Apivar so that I don't have to be in there and messing with them all the time. And then formic in June, right before the honey flow. Typically then I won't touch them until August, late August, when the queen starts laying those winter bees, and through September. Once I pull honey, I will start running oxalic acid again, and then I put my bees to bed with Apivar in there. I'm sure that there's going to be some folks who say that's not a great thing to do, but again, my success rate has been fairly decent, 100% the past 3 years with all of my colonies overwintering with my mite load. And so that's the way that I treat, that's the way that works for me. It may not work for you or where you're at, but here in North Idaho and the way that I treat my hives, that's how it's functional for me. So let's have an let's just, I'll be done rambling and I'll just start showing you what I'm going to do. Okay, so I've got my massive ass pack of Formic here. I just buy it in the box. It's like 60 doses, so 20 patties of Formic Pro, 20 patties per package here. And so I just take them out. I'm going to break the Russians down. And so if you decide to use Formic, or if you're going to, your bees will hate you when you put it on there, but it's for the good of the colony. So let's get going. Okay, so my Russians are pissed at me right now, and I'm not using any smoke today. But what I do is I break the whole stack down. Everybody's just broken in half. Flip my lid over, go from the top box down to the bottom boxes. Okay, everybody's ready to go. So I'm going to lay one strip across those frames and put the next box on. I'm trying to turn my phone off with my gloves on. Hold on. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Just these two little patties in a sachet. Okay, and so you're just going to take this, and they hate it. One's going to go there. I might as well just take the other one right here and put it right on top, because we know that this box is just going to stack right back up. So that one's going to go there. Okay, now we're going to stack boxes, and I'm going to put one more in between a box up top. Okay, so I ran one more right up top there. This whole box is full of honey. Those are 2 empties. Well, this one's fairly empty. That one's got half drawn. But it gives the ability to have let the bees have enough airflow in there. And also the cooler temps help out too. And so that's, again, also why I run that slatted rack, because there's that much more airflow. So now almost 3 inches of airflow that's coming through there. Okay, and the cooler temperatures make it so they're not going to just get blasted by this Formic, but it's really going to hit the mites hard. And so that's my setup. So everyone's back together now. Okay, again, this is just the way that I do it. This is the way that I treat my bees. And because it's so weather and temperature dependent, you really have to be watching your 5 and 10 day forecast, but especially your good 5 day forecast, because you don't want to just blast them with hot weather either. It doesn't help out. So we're going to do one more. I'll do this colony. I'll let you guys show me how I do it. I'll show you guys how I do it. And then I'm just going to move through the rest of these girls so I can get done and get home. So again, these are all just nice, great big boxes of bees. You can see how many bees are in here. Same with this colony, or same with this box. Same with these boxes the whole way down. Every one of them's full. This has actually got a bunch of honey in it. This one's a little more empty, so I'm going to switch this box with this one because I want them to be drawing this out, right? So I'll put this one on top just because it's almost capped. I know that. So here we go. There's our box of bees. Here comes our patty of Formic. They hate this. I just push them out of the way with it. And just drop it on like that. Next patty, right here. Get it out of the pouch, onto the box. Sometimes I'll stagger them, like a little bit more to the back. Let's call this one a little bit more to the front. Ready to box up, and then I'll put one more, about 2 supers up. And that's the way that I run my Formic. So I'm already anticipating the comments just rolling in with, hey, you're using too much, or hey, Formic doesn't work, or anything, because again, they're your bees. And you're going off of the opinion that you have of how you treat your bees. And maybe you've had that experience before of like, man, I put on Formic and it killed my queens. It sure as hell can. And it's hard on them. It's hard on the bees. But you know what else is hard on the bees? The mites are. And that's what kills more colonies throughout the whole world for us beekeepers, small and big, than anything else, you know. And so this is the way that I run my colonies. This is the way that I run my hives. This, again, you guys have seen my success rate. And so I think that my IPM that I run has been a huge part of my success for my overwintering rates and my low mite loads. And so that's what I got. If you guys want to leave a comment, heck yeah, I encourage you to, because I want to hear what you have to say. Because if there's something that you know that I don't, and I can adjust what I'm doing into my apiary and my yard and my IPM, integrated pest management system, then I'd be happy to do it, or try it at least. So that's what I got. Tim, showing you how I run my Formic, and showing you how I treat my bees for mites. So I appreciate you guys watching. Keep watching, because I'll be making more. And the next video up, I think that we're going to go through the new swarm and see if we can find a queen in there, see how they're doing. So that was the Riverbend swarm from the other day that you guys watched. Appreciate you guys watching. And man, have a super rest of the week. Be good to each other. Tim, Post Falls Honey Company in beautiful North Idaho.